on our anniversary, we go out to dinner and we rate our marriage from 1 to 10. We give an honest answer to the question.
You go 1, 2, 3, say the number.
Yeah.
When I'm working with premarital couples, I really try to use that image that so often we think of relationships like planting a tree. You put a sapling in the ground, you stake it, fertilize it, water it, put a fence around it to protect it. And that's how we handle our romantic relationships. Early on, we feed it with kindness and spending time together. We make sure we do date nights, we resolve differences and whatnot. But then there's this belief if we get a good start, if we found the right person, it just organically grows like a tree does. After a few years, the tree doesn't need to be fed or watered or protected. But I don't think that's the image. I've seen so many couples get a great start and they stop feeding their marriage, they stop watering their marriage, they stop protecting their marriage. So I think a better image to send couples into marriage with and to encourage couples that are already married, marriage is more like building a brick house that you put together brick by brick. And if you stop at any point along the way, it doesn't finish itself. It doesn't matter why you stopped, you got bored, it's harder than you thought it would be, you've lost the vision. But the house won't finish itself. And then it gets worse because the elements come in and it assaults it, and the house starts to crumble. And people think, well, there must be a problem with us together as a couple. And when I say, you just stop building the house. Go ahead and finish the house.
Well, we're here with our kitchen couples, Mike and Diane Clemens, Dan and Danielle McCauley. And that was a great clip by GaryThomas talking about using the analogy of building a house brick by brick. I like that.
I like that too, because quite often when you're first married, you pour a lot of attention into each other, and it is like nurturing a little tree, a little sapling. But then as time goes on, you get busy, life happens, and you start to drift away from each other more and think, well, it'll be okay. It's growing.
Take
It's been
care of
around.
itself.
Yeah. But not the case. That's not true.
That's true. We're the ones with the small kids here.
Yes.
So we know what it's like to have little children invade your space or just literally have no energy to put your marriage first. But I like when we model that to our kids and they see mom and dad putting their marriage first. That's really important to me. Yeah.
I guess once you build a house, you can't just be content with that even. There's some upkeep.
Yeah.
There's some house cleaning that has to come along the way. If we're just complacent in anything, then it starts to become a problem.
There's an old saying, if what you did yesterday still sounds good to you today, then you haven't done much today. That's right.
That's good.
What we're always to do is always ahead of us, and understanding that marriage isn't a destination; it's a process, right? And as we continue through that process, and the old sports saying, we say it's not how you start, it's how you finish, right? So it's actually finishing that deal, and the reality is, I guess we are never really finished. Right. We're always in process and constantly trying to get better. And as a champion, as we all want to be champions of our home and our marriage, right? Your best should get better. Right. Your best is always good enough. Right. But your best should get better. Right.
Yeah, and I love the analogy of the house. Because like we were in our last house for 16 years, and every year, right, I wanted to do something new. I wanted to change it. I wanted to give it a new lift. I wanted to make it better. And if you want to do that to your home, why
so
not
that's what was happening.
You just
I thought it was I thought we were just ending.
If you don't want to do that with your house, if you want to do that with your house, why not do it with your marriage, right? Every year, you need a facelift. You need a So.
Well,
by the way, it was 17 years.
You were
17
counting.
renovations.
Mike was counting. Okay, we know.
yeah, we do start out great because we're attentive. We're doing that thing with the little sapling in the tree. But I've heard it said that marriage is the only activity where the rookies tend to be better than the veterans. Now, pinball, that's not something that should be happening. Because what happens with, the rookies, they're supposed to be, they go to practice, they work, they train, and they get better every year.
That's right. But it's a tremendous balance there. I think it's one of those reminders to us, right, that we can learn from everyone. And the rookies are when rookies come in, there's a brightness about them. They're so excited about everything. And so they really change your construct, and it really is that view that they bring something to it that we, as those who have been
As the
married a little
vets,
bit
yes.
longer,
Yes.
can really
Yeah.
take something from.
Yeah. So talking about those bricks, okay? So GaryThomas was talking about putting bricks and being intentional. What are some of the bricks, if we start to really work this out and walk this out in our marriage, what are some bricks that we can intentionally place every day in our marriage? Like he mentioned date nights. Like you do that a lot when you're first married. Let's go on. But then when you do have children or you get really busy in your careers, it's hard to continue doing date nights.
And to see the mess at home when you come back from one.
Is that from the babysitter or from the kids?
Babysitter. Yeah, no, I'm just joking.
You know what? I heard somebody say, a counselor once said, if it comes down to money, because date nights can get costly, I would rather you have a regular date night than cable television. That's how important it was for him to have couples get out to reconnect, because we need it. We need it.
Yeah.
That's important.
We need it.
I see a date night in your future.
We do date
Sign me up.
afternoons
We
now
do
that
now,
the kids are older.
Now the kids are both in
Take
school.
advantage.
And we work from home most of the time, so we do
So
date
there you
days.
go.
Yeah.
Date days. Yeah. So what are some other bricks we can do? Any ideas?
Well, we talked in an earlier show about just those little things.
the little
Maybe it's
things,
just a little brick, or you got to just put the right mortar in there so it'll stick. Maybe it's just a small compliment or something,
One of
little.
the things that we do every year is on our anniversary, we go out to dinner and we rate our marriage from 1 to 10. We give an honest answer to the
You
question.
go
And we
1,
did
2,
that.
3, say the number.
He actually takes a napkin
yes.
and we write it down. Yes,
Pass your offer across
and then
the
we kind of
table.
flip it over, right, to see what each other wrote down. Yeah.
So we rate it from 1 to 10, and we talk about what's good, what's bad, the things we need to work on, what we want more of, what we want less of, and so really kind of take that accountability. We wouldn't think of going through a full year at work and not having some kind of assessment.
Yeah.
And we do it every single year. From the time we were
From
married.
year one.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Every
a
year.
Excellent.
great
25.
idea. Yeah.
It's just being proactive and
It is.
intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some good bricks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Well, we have more in the kitchen with you guys a little later in the program, so stay with us.
Stay with us.